Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism began in India. They all teach reincarnation, the belief that after death people are reborn into another life on earth. Hinduism is the oldest of these four religions, dating back thousands of years. We often call these the Dharmic traditions because each deals with Dharma in a different way. Dharma is an important term in the Indian religions. Dharma means doing your duty towards God, society, family, and yourself, and is often translated as duty, virtue, morality, and even sometimes religion. Mostly it refers to the power which upholds the universe and society. Acting virtuously does not mean precisely the same for everyone. Different people have different obligations and different duties according to their age, their gender, and their social position. Dharma is universal, but it is also particular and operates within very specific circumstances. One offshoot of Hinduism is Jainism. The followers of Jainism are called Jains, and they do not believe in a god or a creator. Instead, they follow the example of the Tirthankaras, perfect human teachers who they believe lived in the distant past. Mahavira, also known as the Great Hero, founded the religion. Jains believe that he was the first of the 24 Tirthankaras. Mahavira lived in India in the 6th century BCE, at about the same time and place as the Buddha. He gave up his comfortable life and lived for 12 years as a beggar. After that, he attained enlightenment. Jainism shares many beliefs with the older religion of Hinduism. The idea of ahimsa, which means non-injury, is even more important to Jains than to Hindus. Jains care for all animals and try never to kill any of them, including insects. This is so important that for some monks, they cover their mouths to avoid inhaling or harming insects. Jains also give up things that are pleasurable in order to be freed from karma. They see karma as actions that keep the soul stuck in the cycle of reincarnation. Jains believe they must follow the three jewels: right knowledge, right faith, and right actions. Their belief in nonviolence determines what jobs they may or may not have. For example, Jains may be merchants or lawyers, but they cannot be soldiers or butchers. Jains also encourage their followers to give to the poor. Sikhism fuses elements of Hindu and Islam. Compared to other religions, Sikhism began rather recently, only 500 years ago. Sikhs believe that there is one God who transcends religious distinctions. This God created the universe and is in everything. People can worship God directly without rituals or priests. They can serve God by caring for each other, by living an honest life, and by working hard. Sikhs believe that everyone is equal before God, and that God guides and protects all people. They also believe that your actions are important, and that's how you should lead a good life. To do this, keep God in your heart and mind at all times, live honestly, treat everyone equally, and be generous to those less fortunate than you, and to serve others. The Sikh community of men and women is known as the Khalsa, which means the community of the pure. In order to become a Sikh and join the Khalsa, people need to follow the 5 Ks. The first K is Kesh, translated as hair, and hair must not be cut. The second is Kanga, the comb. A comb must be carried in the hair to keep it neat. The third is Kirpan, a sword. A small sword is carried as a symbol of Sikhs' willingness to defend themselves and to fight against injustice. It is not to be used as a weapon. The fourth is Kara, the bracelet. Sikhs wear a steel bracelet. The circular shape represents the never-ending cycle of life, and the steel is a sign of strength. And the last is Kacha, short pants. These pants were once part of the Sikh military uniform. They symbolize cleanliness and restraint. For both the Jains and the Sikhs, sacred scriptures collect their teachings. For the Jains, these teachings are called the Agamas and serve as the canonical literature. For the Sikhs, their holy book is the Guru Granth Sahib and is a collection of lessons from the 10 gurus as well as Sikh Hindu, and Muslim saints. Unfortunately for the Jains, many of the original teachings have been lost. As centuries had passed, some of the texts had been forgotten, others were misremembered. And that distortion of the original text has caused much concern for the Jains. Preservation of the scriptures is very important, and unsurprisingly, there have been many arguments about which texts are authentic and which ones are different. However, at the core of all of it is these texts represent a series of beginningless, endless, and fixed truths, and they are a tradition without any origin, human or divine, for the Jains. The Guru Granth Sahib, the sacred teachings of Sikhism, is respected by all Sikhs as the living word of God. It is kept on a raised platform under a canopy in the Sikh place of worship. All Sikhs take off their shoes when they are near it. The Sikh place of worship is called the Gurdwara, which sometimes is translated as gateway to the Guru and other times as house of God. Gurdwaras are open at all times to all people. Before entering, people remove their shoes and cover their heads in respect. The best known Sikh holy site is the Golden Temple. This square building sits in the center of a reflecting pool. The top two stories are plated in gold. The temple has a door on each of its four sides to represent its openness to people from the four corners of the earth. The majority of Jain temples are planar structures, although some beautiful Jain temples do exist in India. These temples contain images of the Tirthankaras, either seated in meditation or standing. For the most part, these gods and idols are not real in themselves, but serve as symbols of human attitudes, aspirations, and fears. And so for Jains, the worship is really about one's own integration in oneself and with the world around. Purity, right living, and services of others are hallmarks of their faith. As you compare these two Dharmic traditions and their sacred teachings, consider these reflection questions about both religions. For the Jains, explain the relevance of the Tirthankaras. Then consider how ahimsa is a central feature of Jain religious life, affecting both ethical behavior and also the quest for liberation. For the Sikhs, consider the Sikh quest for spiritual liberation as a moving away from self-centeredness and more to the union with God. Also consider what the 5 Ks are and their significance for the Sikh religion.